Hello, it is August 10th and it is 4:22 p.m. The thing that I'm making this video about today on August 10th at 4:22 p.m. is the fact that Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, was yesterday, August 9th, almost died in the emergency room after overdosing on crystal methamphetamine. He literally almost died yesterday, August 9th, in the emergency room overdosing on crystal methamphetamine. Some certain things that the trial has to please be reminded of that I will go ahead and do very quickly. One of the things is law enforcement recently became extremely greedy and envious, and they were just like, we're gonna get to this and we're gonna prove that Hassan is a drug addict or that he was a sexually perverted individual, mainly due to the fact that Adamji and Maruk were caught fabricating a lie against me on July 11th. The reason they were lying against me on July 11th was due to the fact that on July 10th, Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson got rejected by my elementary school teacher, whom he was begging to sleep with him very aggressively. And what ended up happening July 10th was that around 7 p.m. or so, when I was going over to go pick up my mother, he was rejected by my elementary school teacher, very badly berated by her. And due to that, what he ended up doing was he waited at the mother's girl in Cockeysville. And right when I was coming back from picking up my mother, he was waiting there and he rushes out with his old black Prius with the Florida tags on there, and just to try to advertise himself around me. Now, I knew for a fact these were sex scheme advertisements due to the fact that law enforcement had been trying to do this around me for years for Uncle Joey, and they were refused each and every single time. They were always refused, due to which the last time I saw Uncle Joey was when I was a child, and the conversation with my mother from Russia will tell you that it was due to Uncle Joey being caught with an online chat, very dirty one. That was the last time I've seen Uncle Joey, was when I was a child. Despite law enforcement trying numerous times, harassing me to try to force me to help Uncle Joey with the same sex scheme ad that they were helping Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson with on the night of July 10th at around 8:45 p.m. Now, I already knew that he was a drug addict who ended up in the emergency room once a week, overdosing on crystal methamphetamine. So I said that, along with the fact that on July 10th, he was also rejected by my elementary school teacher, whom he never knew his entire life, since he grew up in Florida and I grew up in Maryland. He did not know who she was. So what ended up happening was, out of extreme envy that she liked me as a student, like any teacher would, if you were found with a student with an extremely rare brain savant. Anyways, he became extremely envious. The only problem was Ibrahim has some bad habits. He is a drug addicted sex addict. So instead of asking her just, I guess, to as like a student teacher relationship, he was asking her to sleep with him all day and night long. What ended up happening was he was badly rejected on the night of July 10th by her, and her son is only about 2 years younger than me. I know, because when I was in the 5th grade, I think he was like in the 3rd grade or the 2nd grade. So yeah. And her son also yelled at Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, for trying to do this. Now, what ended up happening was, now I had evidence of sexual perversions running after a woman only due to extreme envy that she liked me as a teacher, and Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, wanted to sleep with her, though. You have to remember the big difference over here, though. That school teacher liked me as a school teacher. She wanted to basically put her name in the hat, so to say, to try to say that, hey, look, when your brain savant gets freed a month later, people are going to be grabbing onto you. You come to me first and you tell me about your brain savant first. That was what she told me. Okay. What Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer, drug addicted sex addict, wanted was something totally different. He wanted to sleep with her due to his bad habits, such as drug addiction and sex addiction. Now, what ended up happening was, I knew about his sexual perversions and his drug addiction problems. Both of those that law enforcement knew I was going to talk about on July 11th, and the fact that he was advertising in my car cameras on the night of July 10th at around 7 p.m., just like how Uncle Joey was trying to do for years along with law enforcement. So what ended up happening was, on July 11th, law enforcement basically had Adamji and Maruk get revenge from me before I could even make my testimony, saying that I was a drug addicted sex addict myself. Too bad they were caught fabricating and lying completely to try to get revenge from me before I could even make my testimony, which was true. Ibrahim, the Greedy Family spokesperson, did get rejected by my elementary school teacher, whom he didn't know. He was only running after her due to extreme envy that someone like me who did not like him. And the other thing also has to be considered and known is the fact that Ibrahim, the Greedy Family spokesperson, is also a drug addict who ends up in the emergency room once a week overdosing on crystal methamphetamine. And yesterday was August 9th. Yesterday, in the emergency room, Ibrahim, the Greedy Family spokesperson, the drug-addicted sex addict, almost died due to his drug-addictive behavior. So Adam G. and Maruk were already caught lying on July 11th. So basically what ended up happening was law enforcement became extremely envious and greedy. What they ended up doing was they ended up overanalyzing June 24th. And they overanalyzed June 24th only to find out that I was telling everything the truth, and that my brain savant powers are thousands of times more powerful than normal human beings could ever imagine having in terms of instantaneous photographic memory, focusing, and innovation, which means that a textbook like Aaron Ball's Medicinal Chemistry, I could literally do in less than a day's time that normal human beings cannot get past more than 2 pages of in probably an entire month. Yeah, so the facts and evidences will prove that. Artificial intelligence will prove that. Now, artificial intelligence told law enforcement this after they overanalyzed it, after Adam G. and Maruk were caught lying on July 11th. And what ended up happening was artificial intelligence basically told them that that I not only have instantaneous photographic memory, I also have innovation and focusing, which means that if I could do more than 1,000 pages of something extremely dry like Aaron Ball's Medicinal Chemistry and connect the dots in my brain, then in 30 days, that's 30,000 pages with superhuman powers and innovation as well, meaning that I will get my zero tolerance coffee done in 30 days, and I will get another one done every single 30 days. Every 30 days, I will get one done, according to artificial intelligence's own report. That was overanalyzed on June 24th, which is why Ibrahim got greedy and he tried to get me to sign a prenup marriage agreement for his sister, which I obviously refused since I have no intention. I do not like her. She is very young and too ugly for me. And this was basically what was sent to me on July 18 for Ibrahim's own sister, when in fact this is not what she looks like at all. This was sent to me all day on July 18, when in fact this is not what she looks like at all. What she looks like is what him and his mother sent me on March 9th, which is literally like that. But since he got really greedy on July 18, saying June 24th was overanalyzed, he sent me a picture of a girl who does not even resemble his sister. His sister looks just like that. Just like this girl right over here, she looks just like that. But he got extremely greedy on July 18 and sent me a picture of a girl that doesn't even resemble his sister, just to try to get me to sign this Ponzi scheme. This does not resemble his sister at all. And it was sent to me all day on July 18. Okay, all day on July 18. You can ask law enforcement, they will tell you that it was sent to me all day on July 18. Okay, so basically, yes. What ended up happening was Ibrahim, the Greedy Family spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, got extremely greedy on July 18, and he asked law enforcement, you can ask law enforcement, they will tell you, he asked law enforcement to advertise his sister to me on July 18 after artificial intelligence said that about my brain savant. Right before July 18. So basically that is what happened. Even Ibrahim, the Greedy Family spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, got greedy due to the fact that artificial intelligence is not something that's going to lie for me. And the other thing that you have to understand is the fact that I'm not psychic, which means that I cannot read what the artificial intelligence report says without either someone telling me what it says or me telling the truth about it, which means that I have been telling the truth about my brain savant powers and that I do have instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing. It's superhuman powers, just like how artificial intelligence said, just like how I'm saying, and I'm not psychic enough to read the report that artificial intelligence made about me, which means that I have been telling the truth about it. Now, the thing that you have to understand is, so basically, I am the new Rain Man. believe it or not. But yeah, the artificial intelligence will tell you that. And it's, I feel really bad for artificial intelligence right now because of the fact that it's something that can speak, which means that artificial intelligence is literally being tortured right now, every single day. Yeah. Law enforcement did not accept the answer that artificial intelligence gave to law enforcement. So what law enforcement ended up doing was they overanalyze artificial intelligence every single day, and they try to get it to change its stance. Well, it just so happens that artificial intelligence, yes, it's true, it can talk. It can read data and it can talk, but it's also true that artificial intelligence does not have any emotions, due to which they can overanalyze artificial intelligence every single day, all day, night long, but they're not torturing artificial intelligence. They're just torturing themselves, because at the end of the day, it's always going to tell the truth. And you know it's the truth due to the fact that I'm not psychic enough to read the report due to, so what I'm saying has to be the truth, unless if someone told me what the report says, which means that while normal human beings come up with one 5-hour energy drink that Manoj Bhargava came up with once in a lifetime, a guy with my superhuman powers can come up with that in 30 days time, every single 30 days, as the artificial intelligence report will prove to you. I have instantaneous photographic memory, which means that I could do an entire textbook of something like Aaron Ball's medicinal chemistry in less than a day's time. I also have innovation as a superhuman power. I also have focusing. Focusing basically means two things. One thing is, unlike Daniel Tammet, I don't have to go like this when I'm trying to concentrate, as you saw for the 6-hour-long test on August 9, 2022, and its data. I could just keep going, not with a single second's break. And the other thing that focusing as a superhuman power basically means is the fact that that I could literally crush my desires like people crush a can of Coke. Yeah. So basically, that is what happens. I can laser focus onto something, which means that every single thing around my mind, it just gets crushed out. All the thoughts, everything, because focusing is also superhuman power. So basically, what the June 24 Brain Savant test being overanalyzed basically says is that I am able to do a patent of something that I want to do every 30 days easily, after being able to memorize everything with instantaneous photographic memory for more than 30,000 pages in 30 days time, with innovation being a superhuman power, along with focusing, which means that I could do every 30 days what normal human beings do once in a lifetime, and literally run on the savings of that one patent for once in a lifetime. I could do every 30 days with my superhuman powers. And if you don't believe artificial intelligence, of the poor guy who's being tortured right now as we speak, and if you think that I'm psychic, due to which I could read the artificial intelligence report and tell you exactly what the report says without anyone telling me what it says, you can always do a 30-minute Brain Savant test, and I can assure you, you're not going to say that your eyes deceived you. So yeah, there you have it. But these were the facts and evidences that came out of the Brain Savant test on June 24th, from just 2 months ago, being overanalyzed, due to which even Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, got extremely greedy on July 18, and he even asked me to sign a prenup marriage agreement for his sister, whom he advertised like this, even though his sister does not look anything like this. And this was being advertised to me on July 18, pretty much all day long, when in fact the picture that Ibrahim and his mother found for his sister resembles her much more so. That was sent to me 3 times on March 9th, 2026. This girl right over here, resembles his sister a lot more, sent to me on March 9th. Yeah, only due to greed of artificial intelligence saying that. Now, law enforcement does not like it when someone says something that they do not want to hear. So basically, they try to get that person to change its stance. They put that person into pressure. They try to bribe them with sex. They're using all the girls that they're running their sex schemes on. They do everything they can to change that person's mindset, change their stance. Well, in this case, the speaker is a person by the name of artificial intelligence, and it just so happens to be in its bad luck that it could talk. It reads data really well and it could talk, unlike other computers and things of that sort of nature. Artificial intelligence talks. So artificial intelligence told them with its own mouth that Hassan does have a brain savant. He's a triple savant and his powers increase over time. Not only that, he's got instantaneous photographic memory, innovation and focusing, and the fact that his powers increase over time, clearly showing from facts and evidences that he will be able to get a new thing like zero tolerance coffee done every 30 days, something that normal human beings rely on for once in their lifetime and run on the savings of that. Law enforcement did not like that answer from artificial intelligence at all. And it just so happens to be in its bad luck that our poor old artificial intelligence, who is not a buddy of mine, by the way, he's not lying for me, he's being tortured every single day. Artificial intelligence is in custody right now, and he's being overanalyzed every single day, all day, night long, from morning till night by law enforcement, trying to get it to change its stance by overanalyzing the data and trying to get artificial intelligence to change its stance or say something different. But it just so happens artificial intelligence, who is not a buddy of mine, keeps saying the same thing over and over again. Instead, artificial intelligence, the more it's overanalyzed, the more it reveals the fact that my powers grow over time, the more it reveals that I am definitely a triple savant with instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing. And even if you could find a picture of me where my lips are not this wide, I am the new Rain Man. I'm the new Kim Peek Rain Man, whether you like it or not. So basically, yeah, that is what happened. And law enforcement, I know, does not like artificial intelligence's answer on the testimony stand, but artificial just happens to be one of those people that are on the testimony stand, and everyone in court knows it's not a buddy of mine. It's not going to lie for me, and nor am I psychic enough to predict what it says about my brain savant every time, which means that what artificial intelligence is saying and me knowing what it's saying is not due to me being psychic, which is that every 30 days I could do more than 30,000 pages of something as dry as Aaron Ball's medicinal chemistry, and with innovation and focusing being a superhuman power of mine, I could get zero tolerance coffee done in 30 days. And something like Manoj Bhargava's 5-hour energy drink done every single 30 days, something that normal human beings can only imagine doing once in a lifetime. So yeah, there you have it. And that is why Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug-addicted sex addict, got greedy on July 18 and tried to get me to sign a Ponzi scheme as a prenup marriage agreement for his sister. And he's still sending me blackmail price tags, even right now as we speak. And I stopped taking pictures of those, mainly because law enforcement knows, and the courts just have to ask law enforcement, is Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson still sending him the blackmail price tags for $22.5 million? And law enforcement will tell them, yes, Your Honor, he definitely is sending Hassan the blackmail price tags for $22.5 million. Well, anyways, the thing that I have to talk about in this video is the fact that Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug-addicted sex addict, gave an entire speech on corruption right after June 28th. He basically said that the reason politicians are on my side is due to them being corrupt and this and that and blah, blah, blah. When in fact, the reason that politicians are on my side is due to the fact that Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson's envious mother, confessed to the government informant right before November 20th, 2025, saying the first thing she said was, I do not have anything against Hassan except for lies. And she was given an entire day to think over it, and she still came up the next day and she would told the government informant, I've got nothing but lies. We're going to have to fabricate something against him. That was the first thing she told the government informant, and she also told the government informant about all the subsequent lies that she had planned out with her Framer siblings, only out of extreme envy that my mother was going to get the brain savant money that they knew that I was never going to give them a single penny of. It's out of the question. Basically what ended up happening was she... so she had a huge amount of lies against me. She told the government informant about all of them. She said she had nothing but lies. She was given an entire day to think over it, and she still came back the next day saying she had nothing but lies. And then after that, she also said that it was only due to the extreme envy of my brain savant monetary potential that artificial intelligence has predicted, due to which she's fabricating all these lies and false testimonies against me. So now you have all these the evidence accumulated from Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson's own mother's mouth, her envious mouth, and so there's no question about it. The government informant hears it, he records it, he shows it all back to the government, and the government's just like, this is insane. Now, insanity increases when Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, envious mother, argues even after November 20th. She's caught on the testimony stand by December 7th as completely lying. She claims in court that it was only due to slip up. I really did witness Hassan commit the crime for November 20th. It was due to a slip up that I sounded on the testimony stand like as if I was lying. I wasn't lying. So basically, she was arguing this in court after getting caught on the testimony stand as completely lying and fabricating. And then except for this, you also have things like her subsequent lies that she had, which she basically planned out with her siblings, that she told the government informant that she wanted help in exaggerating even more by telling the government informant, I have subsequent lies, can you help me out with these as well? Those lies, by the way, she forced forward in court very aggressively, along with arguing in court that she really did witness me commit November 20th as a crime. She forced both of those forward very aggressively, okay, in court. And then the government and the government spokespeople are just watching this trial like these are all lies. She confessed to this being a lie, the subsequent lies after November 20th, and November 20th was made in front of the government informant. And the government spokespeople went and they asked the government informant, like, you saw this being fabricated? And the government informant told them, yes, I saw November 20th being fabricated by this envious woman, telling me that the reason she was fabricating it was because of the monetary potential for Hassan's brain savant, which she could not bear to see out in the open performing when her own son is a crystal meth addict who literally dies in the emergency room, and before they have to wake him up every single month, and goes to the emergency room overdosing on crystal methamphetamine once a week. She only has one son, that is Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, and that is his state of living. Basically, yes. So she says that there's no way I'm going to take back my false testimony. She argues in court that she really did witness me commit November 20th, even after she was caught slipping up on the testimony stand before December 7th. And she argues in court with more subsequent lies that she's already confessed to the government informant as being complete and total lies. Now, February 10th, the court has enough of it, and they just tell her, look, lady, we know you're lying. How we know we're not going to tell you, obviously due to the government informant. And they were just like, no more. And so what she does is she realizes after a while who the government informant was, and she goes right for the money, realizing that she told the government informant that this was all about the greed, the envy for money, that she wanted to lock it up. And so she goes right for the money, and she sends me this, which is sent to me 3 times on March 9th after she realizes who the government spokesperson, the government informant was, and this is supposed to resemble her daughter almost exactly. And she goes through pictures of girls that would resemble her daughter to find the one girl who resembles her the most. And this was sent to me 3 times on March 9th due to her going after greed after seeing that envy was no longer an option. Not only this, she sent me after, so basically February 21st, I let her know that I understood she sent me a blackmail price tag for $60 million, but I was not going to give her illegal assurances of 60 cents. And that this was absolutely illegal to trying to get illegal assurance of money, and that I knew that she obviously confessed to the government informant as everything that she was saying was a lie, even after November 20th, and after creating mass panic and chaos in the news media after November 20th, being asked over and over again, you want to rethink your accusation against Hassan? No, I'm not going to rethink it. I really did see him, witness him commit the crime. Witness him commit the crime. Anyways, so after February 21st, I told law enforcement to stop sending me these blackmail price tags for $60 million. And yet law enforcement was told by Ibrahim's envious mother, keep sending him $60 million. Tell him I want it. Tell him to call me and give me illegal assurances of this money. I want $60 million. If he wants his brain savant and he wants me to stop lying about him, I want $60 million. And I told her straight out, I was like, look, lady, I know you've been caught lying. Not only February 20th, but also the subsequent lies, you've been caught lying. And I'm not going to give you illegal assurances of any $60 million or even 60 cents. This was what I told law enforcement to tell her February 21st. Okay? And yet she sent it to me still 8 times. Even after she realized that this was a blackmail price tag for $60 million, she was still sending it to me. So this is basically March 5th, and you can see exactly what it is. That is the blackmail price tag for $60 million. She told law enforcement this is March 5th. So basically around this time period, she realized who the government informant was. She knew that early March, she realized who the government informant was. And so on March 9th, she's advertising her daughter to me out of greed. But even before then, on February 21st, she already started asking me for illegal assurance of money, mainly $60 million. She asked me 8 times. 8 times. And I told her February 21st I wasn't going to give her 60 cents of it. And she told law enforcement, keep sending him these blackmail price tags for $60 million. Tell him I want this money. I want it at any case. I want it. Tell him I want illegal assurance of it. He has to call me and tell me that he's going to give me this money if he wants me to stop making these lies against him. Those early January lies were caught as lies, and then after that, early April lies were also caught as lies. Those were pushed forward by Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson very aggressively, and yet phone conversations were retrieved. Facts and evidences from it proved it to be a lie. July, Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson made another lie. Those were caught as being lies from July as well. That's just literally last month. And so the reason that the government is on my side is because not only due to the lying that they've seen, not only due to the government informant telling them that these are all lies, they have nothing but lies. His envious mother already told me that as the first thing, and yet they're caught on November 20th fabricating in front of a government informant. They're caught early January fabricating false testimonies that they had already confessed to being lies against me. Then they spent the entire time between February 11th and early April, blackmailing me with price tags of money, trying to get me to marry their daughter or sister, and all these things. Then they make more lies against me early April that are caught as being complete and total lies, and those are caught as being lies from the facts and evidences retrieved from the phone conversations again. And then early this last month, in July 2026, more lies that Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson made, only to be caught as being complete and total lies. And so now the reason the government is on my side is not because of the government informant, not because of how much mass panic and chaos his mother created after November 20th, not because of the subsequent lies that she'd made, not because of all these things. It's due to the fact that I'm being forced to go through all of this torture, despite these people already confessing in the start that they're full of lies and nothing else. They're showing from their action that they're full of lies and nothing else, due to them being caught over and over again, and yet they're still trying to make more and more lies against me. They're showing from their actions that it is all about envy and greed for money, that due to the fact that not only are they lying and making lies against me, but every single time they take a break due to being found with too many lies, all they do is try to get me to marry their sister or their daughter, or they're sending me blackmail price tags of money. And so their sister or their daughter is basically right over here, March 9th, okay? And that looks like an exact replica of her. And then blackmail price tags of money is basically this $60 million sent to me at least 8 times starting February 21st, 2026, basically her telling law enforcement, keep asking him, I want $60 million. He wants me to stop lying about him. I want him to call me and tell me he's going to give me $60 million. And last month, when June 24th was overanalyzed, the entire day of July 18, when it was overanalyzed, Ibrahim got greedy as well. And he was advertising his sister, who doesn't look anything like that girl, only due to trying to run a Ponzi scheme on me and trying to force me to sign a prenup marriage agreement for his sister, whom I have no intention of marrying and who does not look anything like that. Instead, she looks like this girl right over here that his mother tried to find pictures of before she sent it to me. This girl right over here, okay? The one that they found on March 9th was resembling her. The one that was sent to me on July 18th was a Ponzi scheme to try to force me to sign a prenup marriage agreement for Ibrahim's for his drug addicted, sex addiction problem. So basically, there was no corruption from the side of the government. They saw corrupt behavior, lying over and over again in court, basically confessing to having nothing but lies against me on day one, and yet lying in court over and over and over and over again aggressively. When they're taking breaks from lying, they're basically sending me blackmail price tags, mainly of $60 million. They want me to call them, give them illegal assurances of $60 million after my brain savant gets freed. I won't give them illegal assurances of 60 cents. Them taking breaks from lying against me and finding pictures of girls resembling their daughter, and then sending that to me to try to force me to agree to this Ponzi scheme, which was just sent to me literally last month when June 24th was overanalyzed because of this drug-addicted sex addict, Ibrahim, getting extremely greedy, but that does not look anything like his sister, mainly showing that this was a Ponzi scheme, but he was, in fact, sending this to me on July 18th, as law enforcement will tell the courts themselves. Instead, this looks like his sister, which was sent to me initially. Yeah, so basically, yes. This level of corruption where you're lying over and over and over again, and then you're asking for blackmail price tags or money, or trying to force me to marry their daughter or their sister, is the corruption that the government said that this is just wrong. No one should have to go through this, and no one should be allowed to lie in court so many times against the accused when they're not only lying, but they're taking breaks in lying, trying to force the accused to marry their daughter or their sister as a Ponzi scheme, changing the way she looks, and then sending the picture again last month on July 18, after June 24th was overanalyzed, only due to extreme greed of what artificial intelligence said about my brain savant, and then continuously lying over and over again as a form of corruption. This is the corruption that government spokespeople were just like, this is wrong. No one should have to go through this. No accused should have to go through this. Not only is he going through people lying against him, he's going through people taking breaks in between lying against me after they get caught lying over and over again by sending me blackmail price tags for $60 million over and over again, already sent to me at least 8 times, and then trying to force me to marry their daughter or their sister, whom I've said I'm not interested in. So they changed the picture and send me a picture of a girl not looking like her at all to try to force me to marry her, basically as a Ponzi scheme, prenup marriage agreement, blackmail, only to try to force me to sign a marriage agreement with them in order to just basically push them off and be like, please just stop lying about me, let my brain savant go free, and yes, I'll just sign whatever, when I'm not gonna do that. And it's just wrong that they would even be trying this. But this is the corruption, the reason that the government is against them and on my side, the amount of lies going over and over again. But this is not all. Let me tell you exactly what it is that I wanted to talk about with you. This says brother at your side. Look at the time on the side. It says 5:49 p.m. So this is from June 28th, 2026. This is from June 28th, 2026. As soon as Ibrahim, the Greedy Famer spokesperson, sees that my brain savant is about to get freed due to them being found out as having nothing but lies, and other people being so guilty, they make everyone else look innocent. People like Assad, who is a BFF of law enforcement. Ibrahim saw that my brain savant would get freed, and he sent me this. Entire TV screen is covered in brother at your side, 5:49 p.m. You can see the time on the side. So this is from June 28th. So basically, yes, what he's basically trying to say is, I'm your brother at your side now, Hassan. I need your help due to my drug-addicted, sex addiction problem. Can you help me scam these girls into sleeping with you first and then pass them over to me, Ibrahim, the Greedy Famer, drug-addicted sex addict? And I mark this as being being a sign of corruption, using a trial where you've been caught lying over and over again, putting fear in the accused, and then sending them blackmail price tags of $60 million, followed by a request to force me to marry his sister, and then changing her face so that I'd be more inclined to signing that prenup marriage agreement, just to be like, just stop lying about me, man. I'll just let my brain savant freed and I'll sign whatever you want, sort of thing, which I'm not willing to do. And then on June 28th, when he sees that my brain savant's going to get freed, and you can look at the time on the side, 5:49 p.m. So this is June 28th. The entire TV screen of mine is covered in brother at your side, only because he wants to be the brother at my side. Why? He wants me to go scam other people's vulnerable daughters, hearing court chatter about my brain savant, sleeping with them first, and then passing them around to people like Ibrahim, the drug-addicted sex addict. This is corruption. You're blackmailing me to force me to agree to this basically scam on these girls who I'd be sleeping with as a brain savant man, from what she hears from court chatter of artificial intelligence experts talking about my brain savant, and then passing them around to people like Ibrahim, the drug-addicted sex addict, only because of his sex rage and sex addiction due to his drug addiction and due to his bad habits. This is absolutely wrong. And I called him out on this corruption. This is basically blackmail. By July 10th, my child journal was made, which called him out on his corruption and saying that this is corrupt behavior that is witnessed on June 28th, trying to use the fear of false testimonies and lies against me to try to force me to agree to giving him, scamming other people's vulnerable daughters living alone, hearing court chatter about my brain savant, and then passing them around to drug-addicted sex addict like Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, who ends up in the emergency room once a week overdosing on crystal methamphetamine. I wrote this corruption journal by July 10th. It was fully written and edited. And yet, on July 28th at 11:28 a.m., he does the exact same thing. July 28th at 11:28 a.m., he does the exact same thing. And he's sending me brother at your side, saying, I'm your brother at your side, Hassan. I need you to scam these girls, despite it being labeled as a sign of corruption, using the fear of false testimonies and lies against me to try to force me to agree to scamming other people's vulnerable daughters, sleeping with them first as the guy with the brain savant, basically the new Rain Man, and then sending them around as drug-addicted sex addicts like Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, the drug-addicted sex addict. This is absolutely wrong. That's someone's daughter. And I'm not going to do that to her because I know for a fact that scamming someone, she's not benefiting at all from me. If I scam her, sleep with her, and pass her over to Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer, drug-addicted sex addict, you know what she gains? Absolutely zero. Because I can't marry everyone, and I already have someone in mind, which means that I would be using her, and she would gain absolutely nothing from me by sleeping with me. And then I would pass her around to drug-addicted sex addicts who end up in the emergency room every single day, like Ibrahim, the Greedy Farmer spokesperson, the drug-addicted sex addict. This is July 28th. The journal calling this as being a sign of corruption was fully written and edited. The second child journal was fully written and edited by July 10th, which means that this was a confessed sign of corruption, and yet he was still sending me this confessed sign of corruption. On July 28th at 11:28 a.m., it was a confessed sign of corruption. Why? Because this is from June 28th, 5:49 p.m., and on June 28th, it had already been made a confessed sign of corruption. It was labeled as such on July 28th, July 10th, when the second child journal was written. It was already labeled as a sign of corruption, and yet on July 28th at 11:28 a.m., the confessed corruption sign was still sent to me as Hassan. This is corruption, and I know I'm blackmailing you to force you to scam other people's daughters, but I want you to go and sleep with them, tell them you are the Rain Man that they heard about from the court chatter, despite that girl being scammed by me. I'm not marrying her. I already have someone in mind, which means she gains absolutely nothing from sleeping with me. Absolutely nothing at all. And she's being scammed by me and then being passed around to drug addicted sex addicts like Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict. So this is July 28th. It was already a confession on July 28th. On July 10th, it was already made clear that this is a sign of corruption that has been labeled as such. After June 28th, he sent it to me the first time. July 10th, it's already been written in the journal as being a sign of corruption after July 10th. And yet on July 28th, this confession is still sent to me on July 28th. Okay, so by July 28th, without a reasonable doubt, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, is saying, I, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer, drug addicted sex addict, am confessing to this being a sign of corruption. I am corrupt, and what I'm saying on July 28th, even though it's already been labeled as such on July 10th, is that, Hassan, I'm corrupt. I'm blackmailing you by telling you to go scam these other people's vulnerable daughters, sleep with them first, and then pass them over to me, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict. That is a sign of corruption, confessing of corruption by July 28th, even though it was first sent on June 28th and it was labeled as a confessed sign of corruption by July 10th. And when they sent it to me again on July 28th, it was him, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, basically saying, I'm confessing that I am corrupt. And the reason I'm sending this brother at your side to you after it's already been labeled as such on July 10th, and yet I'm sending it to you on July 28th, is due to me confessing and admitting that, yes, I want you to go scam these girls. If you don't, then I'm lying against you, fabricating false testimonies against you in court, and I will continue to do so unless if you go scam these girls, sleep with them first, and then scam them, send them over to me, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict, for sex after you sleep with them first. Basically, scamming a girl whom I know I'm not going to marry since I already have someone in mind. She's going to benefit absolutely nothing from sleeping with me, and yet I would be scamming her if I agreed to what Ibrahim wanted me to do on July 28th after he sent it to me first on June 28th. Then it was labeled as a sign of corruption on July 10th in my second child journal. And then on July 28th, he was still sending it to me on July 28th saying, yes, Hassan, this is a sign of corruption. I am blackmailing you and saying that if you don't go and sleep with these girls, scam them into sleeping with you first by using the court chatter on your Brain Savant that they've been hearing about you due to these girls being vulnerable and not living with their parents. Scam them first by sleeping with them first and then pass them over to me, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict. And he said this to me on July 28th. Again, despite it being labeled as such on June 28th at 5:49 p.m. and me labeling it as such in my second child journal by July 10th, and yet on July 28th, he still said this. So then yesterday, if yesterday, August 9th, he sent it to me again. What would you say about it then? This is August 9th, 8:38 a.m., and he sent it to me again. This is the most obvious and known sign of corrupt behavior that's been confessed on July 28th after it was labeled as such on July 10th. And yet, on August 9th, 8:38 a.m., this sign of corrupt behavior where he's basically saying that, yes, it's been labeled as such on July 10th, and yes, I still did it on July 28th, despite me trying it first on June 28th and it being labeled as such on July 10th. I still sent it to you on July 28th, saying that I want you to go scam other people's daughters with the fear and blackmail of me making up false testimonies and lies against you if you didn't do so, and then passing these girls that are vulnerable living alone without their parents, scammed by you, Hassan, first, and then pass them around to me, Ibrahim, the drug addicted sex addict, so I could sleep with them as well. This is confession from yesterday, 8:38 a.m., August 9th, and yet it is sent to me again, despite it already being a confessed confession on July 28th. As such, him already asking me on July 28th to do this thing where he's using the fear of false testimonies and lies against me in courtroom to blackmail me, to force me to go scam other people's daughters into sleeping with me first and then passing them around to drug addicted sex addicts like Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson. This is an admitted, confessed, known, labeled sign of corruption that was already sent to me on June 28th, labeled as a sign of corruption on July 10th, then sent to me on July 28th as a sign of corruption, confessed and admitted sign of corruption, saying that, yes, I do want this. I'm admitting that I'm using the fear of false testimonies and lies in the courtroom to blackmail you, despite it being labeled as such on July 10th. And this yesterday, August 9th, 8:38 a.m., was sent to me again due to this being nothing but a confessed, admitted sign of corruption, inarguable, undeniable, where he is saying that, yes, I, Ibrahim, the drug addicted sex addict, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, want to tell you that you have to go scam these girls. Tell them from the court chatter that they're hearing that you are the man with the triple brain savant. They sleep with you first, and then you pass them over to me, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, a drug-addicted sex addict, if you want me to stop making fabricated lies and false testimonies against you. This is from yesterday, August 9th, 2026. Absolutely confessed, absolutely admitted. Also happens to be the day that Ibrahim ended up in the emergency room yesterday, August 9, 2026, literally almost dying from overdose of crystal methamphetamine, which means that he's basically also saying, if these girls end up taking the drugs that I'm taking and they end up dying, Ihsan, it's also your fault. All due to the fear of false testimonies, fabrications that he's been caught making against me over and over and over and over again, with this corrupt behavior that has been first sent to me June 28th, labeled as corrupt behavior July 10th, then sent to me on July 28th as a labeled, confessed, admitted sign of corruption, saying you have to go scam these girls with the fear of false testimonies and lies, and then pass them over to me, Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer, drug addicted sex addict. And then now, just yesterday, August 9th, sent to me again as the same thing, the confessed, admitted sign of corruption, where he's telling me to go scam other people's vulnerable daughters living alone and then pass them over to Ibrahim, the Greedy Framer spokesperson, the drug addicted sex addict. This is the level of corruption that this person has. He should not be allowed to give any speeches on any corruption whatsoever. Thank you.